All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kwadash, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, are two great kings. Second of all, I want to give double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Elder Tahar and on down, that rule and teach well. And third of all, I want to give a peace and safety to the hopeful elect out there, the brothers that push this truth, the truth of the King James Bible, and all truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe. All right, so I just want to do a short lesson, or however long the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah allows it to go. And I'm not really sure what I want to title the lesson yet. Lord will the Lord give me a title for the lesson. But Lord wills, brothers can see on the screen, the inspiration for this lesson comes from this article that I have here from The Hill. And the title of the article reads, Energy Department Issues Emergency Orders for Mid-Atlantic Power Grid Amid Heat Wave. All right. So I'm pretty sure all the brothers out there are aware that this week or this weekend or whatever here in Babylon the Great, the Lord is going to smite this place with a heat wave, all right, which is a plague too, by the way, extreme heat, which is also a plague, all right, which people can die from that, which I think in Europe it was, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was in Europe, you had like 13 people, well, I forget this exact number, it might have been higher, it might have been way higher, I forget the exact number, but a good deal of people died from a heat wave over there in Europe. All right, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's where it was at. But yeah, extreme heat can kill, you know, destroy crops, bring about droughts, which destroy crops, which obviously affects the food supply chain. All right, so the Lord can really do damage with heat waves. All right, like down here in Florida, we had a whole bunch of forest fires because there was a major drought. The Lord didn't make it rain here in Florida, in northern Florida, all right, for a few days, which caused a drought, which caused forest fires. All right. So again, the Lord can do a lot of damage with heat. All right. Which we know the second death is going to come by way of heat. So the Lord can, we definitely know the Lord can do damage, using heat or whatever. But I'm gonna go ahead and play the audio for the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the audio for the article. And I'm gonna get a precept and then wrap it up. But yeah, the Lord is definitely visiting this place, man. All right.
Department issues emergency orders for Mid-Atlantic power grid amid heat wave. By Rachel Frazen. As an electric grid operator warns of potential power shortages amid this week's heat wave, the Trump administration is issuing emergency orders aiming to maximize output. Energy Secretary Chris Wright issued orders directing grid operator PJM to dispatch more power generation.
And they've been saying for some time now that America's power grid is super vulnerable. All right, basically it's trash. We outdid it. All right, definitely need some work. Which the higher ups, ain't funding things like that. The only thing they're funding is the war machine. All right, that's the only thing they're willing to fund. All right, but for some time now, people have been saying, people that are expert in the energy world or whatever, have been saying, Salakia, that the America's power grid is complete and utter trash. All right.
More power generation from various fossil fuel plants, as needed, despite environmental restrictions that are typically in place. He also authorized PJM to direct backup power sources to operate as a last resort. The orders come after PJM, which stands for Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, warned of an emergency situation because of the hot weather. PJM is projecting peak loads of approximately 159,563 megawatts on July 1st, 2026, and approximately 162,860 megawatts on July 2nd, 2026, said a letter from Michael Bryson, PJM's Senior Vice President for Operations. The forecasted demand raises a significant risk of emergency conditions that could jeopardize electric reliability and public safety. Bryson added, in much of the country,
right, that type of heat, and again, it's supposed to be some pretty high numbers. All right, some places are supposed to be up into like the 105 to 106 to 107. All right, and imagine it, no electricity, no AC in your house. Yeah, that's gonna be devastating. And on top of all of that, the strategic oil reserves is at an all-time low, which, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, as Aquanium and Akim been speaking heavy on that. All right, so Babylon is done,
temperatures are expected to be particularly high this week. According to the National Weather Service, in the eastern U.S., several all-time heat records are likely to be broken.
Right, several all-time heat records are likely to be broken on the East Coast. All right, so it's going to be hot. And they're talking about the power grid could possibly fail. Which, this has, a FF, I'll just go ahead and say it, a false flag all over it. All right, the grid just go down out of nowhere. All right, and on top of all of that, again, the strategic oil reserves is at an all-time low, which is going to cause the price of goods in the store, prices at the pump, all right, so on and so forth, to go through the roof. And also shortages. It's going to cause shortages as well. All right, so it's about to get ugly, man.
Despite its name, PJM actually coordinates electric transmission in 13 states and Washington, D.C. It has come under recent scrutiny for power prices, particularly in the wake of rising demand from data centers. In a statement, Wright said the latest moves will ensure reliability across the Mid-Atlantic. Maintaining affordable, reliable, and secure power in the PJM service territory is non-negotiable, Wright said, adding that his department was using every available tool ensuring American...
Again, another thing that could happen is some type of attack on the power grid. All right, and they blame Iran for it. That's another thing that could happen, So, yeah, this is definitely something to keep an eye on. All right, and it was perfect timing for them to pull off a FF or get a false flag.
Americans in the Mid-Atlantic have continued access to affordable, reliable, and secure energy to power and cool their homes.
All right, so again, Energy Department issues emergency order for a Mid-Atlantic power grid amid heat wave. So, again, that could have false flag written all over it, man. Again, they knock out the power grid, or the power grid shuts down. All right, extreme heat, a plague of extreme heat all throughout Babylon. Energy grids down, or the grid's down. People ain't got AC in their house. Shit get crazy quick, man. Real quick. Alright. This 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 8. And I will hold my tongue no more touching their wickedness, which they proclaim to commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually, which is the elect. The elect is, sighing and crying, giving the Lord's ears no rest, praying for the Lord to bring judgment, a harsh judgment upon Babylon the Great, which he's getting ready to do. All right, and that could definitely be one of them, the power grid going down. All right, which that means no lights, no electricity or whatever, no lights, no AC. All right, which when you read, like the Lord said, I'm going to just keep reading it. Verse 10, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. The Lord's people are the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native and Seminole Indians. Would I not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, which Babylon is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. All right, so another name for America is Egypt. Verse 11, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Right. So the Lord says he's going to smite Egypt with plagues. All right. One of the plagues when you read the book of Exodus, one of the plagues that the Lord brought upon Egypt, ancient pagan Egypt, was darkness upon the land. And how would that happen today? It will happen by way of the power grid going down. No lights, you know, no utilities at all. Everything just shuts down. Lights, AC, you know, and all could come by way of this plague of heat that the Heavenly Father is bringing upon this place. Because again, it is a plague. All right. Again, heat can kill people. Which again, I think it might have been 13 people or 13,000 people. I forget the exact number, but you had some people over there across the pond die from extreme heat. All right, so heat, of course, can kill people. All right, it can destroy crops. It can start fires. All right, so this is definitely a plague the Heavenly Father is bringing upon this place. Verse 12, here's a point. Egypt shall mourn, and Egypt is definitely in mourning right now. You see a majority of people in America are in mourning. Edomites, Israelites, these other nations, all in Babylon the Great, all are in a state of mourning right now because of how life is here. And it's only going to get worse. And the foundation of it should be smitten with the plagues and punishment that Yahweh should bring upon it, right? So the Lord is bringing punishment upon this place. And the heat wave definitely can count as a punishment. You know, the grid going down, the AC, out, lights out, no AC in your house, no running water, or no hot water or whatever. Or probably no water, period, because if all that goes down, more than likely they're going to shut the water off as well. All right. So yeah, this is definitely something to keep an eye on. On top of all that, this week you got Babylon's 250th birthday on Saturday. They say they're getting ready to put boots on the ground in Iran. So yeah, it's just getting real, man. It's about to get real. All right. And again, this is definitely something to keep an eye on. All right, because with this heat wave, this is definitely something that could happen. All right, them knocking the grid out and blaming this heat wave. All right, and leave the power off or power off or whatever for a few days. All right. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. Lord will, I went all over the place. It's pretty late, I just got off not too long ago, but I just want to speak on this real quick. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors again to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and safety to you brothers that push this truth and sincerity. And with that, I'm going to say Shalom.